Hey, welcome to The Explainer. If you're running a small or medium-sized business, every single marketing dollar really counts. So today, we're going to dig into something called the inbound advantage. It's a way smarter approach to getting real measurable results from all that effort you're putting in. So let's be honest for a second. This is a question that has probably kept you up at night, right? You're pouring time, money, and energy into marketing, but can you actually see a clear return on that investment? Well, today we are going to tackle that exact ROI puzzle. All right, so let's get right into it. Why is it so darn hard for so many small businesses to get the marketing ROI they're looking for? Well, a lot of the time, the answer lies in how the different pieces of their strategy fit together, or more often than not, how they don't. You see this all the time, right? A business that's absolutely crushing it in one specific area. Maybe they have a fantastic, super engaging social media presence, their following is growing. They're doing one part of that whole marketing equation really well. But, and this is a big but, here's where all that great momentum just hits a brick wall. All that awesome social media traffic has nowhere to go. It's like building a beautiful highway that leads to a dead end. Without strong landing pages to actually capture that interest, those potential leads just poof, disappear. It's a classic case of a fragmented approach, where one really strong tactic isn't being supported by the rest of the system. And this really gets to the absolute heart of the problem. The source material we're looking at today points this out perfectly. It says that too many businesses get tunnel vision. They focus on these individual tactics instead of building a complete holistic strategy. That social media campaign might be amazing, but without a full system holding it all together, the results, they're always going to be limited.
So, solving this whole puzzle, it really requires a fundamental shift in how you think about marketing. It's about a choice, really, between two totally different philosophies, the old way versus the new.
And really, it all boils down to this: a shift from interruption to attraction. See, outbound marketing, that's your traditional TV ads, direct mail, cold calls, it's all about buying attention and, let's face it, interrupting someone's day. Inbound marketing, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It's all about earning attention by attracting an audience with valuable, useful content. It becomes a two-way dialogue, not a one-way monologue. And that's what makes it so much more measurable. Okay, so what is this inbound approach exactly? And more importantly, what makes it so much smarter, especially for businesses that are, working with tighter budgets? Well, at its core, inbound marketing totally flips the script. Instead of just shouting at potential customers, you're attracting them with content that they are already out there looking for. So your brand stops being this annoying interruption and starts being a helpful, valuable voice in a conversation they actually want to be a part of. Huge difference. And listen, the benefits here go way beyond just making a single sale. A really effective inbound strategy builds trust with your audience. It establishes you as the expert, the thought leader in your field. It engages potential customers, influences their buying decisions, and ultimately, it builds lasting relationships. These aren't just one-off wins. These are invaluable assets that just keep growing over time. Okay, but how does all this actually hit the bottom line? Trust and relationships are fantastic, but you still gotta prove the ROI, right? So let's get into the hard numbers, because honestly, they are really convincing. Let's start with the old way first. We all know that traditional outbound tactics are just notoriously expensive. A simple newspaper ad can run you thousands. A national magazine ad, you're easily talking six figures. And the worst part? It's almost impossible to track what you're actually getting for all that money. So, when you average it all out, the data shows that the cost to get just one single lead using these old-school outbound methods is a staggering $346. Think about that. That is a lot of cash for just one potential customer. All right, now let's flip that and look at inbound. The costs for things like SEO or a good social media marketing plan, they are just so much more accessible, especially for a small or medium-sized business. You can get started for just a fraction of what a traditional campaign would cost. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. With a well-executed inbound strategy, that average cost per lead drops dramatically to just $135. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. We're talking about a 62% reduction in the cost per lead. For any business, but especially for an SME, that is a completely game-changing level of efficiency. You're not just saving money here, you're making your marketing budget work so much harder for you.
But you know what? The biggest advantage here isn't even just about the lower cost. It's about clarity. It's the ability to track, to measure, and to improve every single thing you do.
Remember that one-way street we talked about with outbound marketing, where you just kind of throw money out there and hope for the best? Well, with inbound, because it's all digital, you can see exactly what's working and what's not. You can see how many people are visiting your site, what content they're engaging with, and who actually turns into a lead. You can fine-tune your strategy based on real hard data, not just guesswork. So how do you actually measure all this stuff? It sounds complicated, but the source gives us a really simple 3-step dashboard. It really just comes down to knowing 3 key things. First, track your leads. How many potential customers are you actually generating? Second, know your costs. How much does it cost you to acquire a new customer? We call that your CAC. And third, understand your customer value. How much is that customer worth to your business over their lifetime? That's your CLV. When you connect those 3 dots, boom, you have a crystal clear picture of your ROI. So, at the end of the day, the takeaway is pretty clear. We live in a world where customers are absolute experts at ignoring interruptions and ads. The smarter investment, the one that's built for today, is attracting them with real value, which really just leaves you with one key question to ask yourself about your own business. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.